Proverbs tells us, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Modern society, with all its techno marvels, has transformed the world in too many ways to count. One of the blessings is that old friends can be reconnected, and they can sharpen and encourage each other even without knowing they're doing it. That's exactly what my friend Jolina Petersheim did for me. Simply reading her words from far away rekindled old dreams I had given up and prodded me to stir up the gifts I'd been given. I can't thank her enough. In this episode of the Every Wise Woman Builds podcast, listen along as Jolina answers my question about one of those old posts and how her life was changing as she posted it and how it changed mine. I remember a long time ago on your blog, you shared a post about, maybe it was a series of posts, but it was about how you were starting to get up early. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that didn't last long.
Did it not?
No. Isn't that funny? No, I did that. I think that was October 2014. I was actually, some of that had to do with the fact that I posted that the same day I started kind of miscarrying our child in between. Oh, really? And I remember, I was kind of in the process, not sure if it was just spotting or if I was actually miscarrying. But I wrote that post, I remember, or it was a vlog, right? Like a video blog.
I don't remember.
I wrote it, and I was getting up and I was working, and I was very, very disciplined. And then when I lost that little baby, even though I was just 11 weeks along, it was just like screech. Yeah. And then my perspective just had to be realigned. And I remember until that point, I wanted the Outcast actually didn't make the New York Times bestseller list. It did Amazon and CBA and ECPA, so evangelical and Christian. But I wanted to be on the New York Times bestseller list. I was on the USA Today bestseller list. I was working myself craziness and just so obsessed with Amazon sales ratings and all of that stuff. And I can still get caught up in it just like anybody. But it made me realize my kids have to come first. I can't be jetting down to Memphis and going up here and doing all this stuff if they can't come first. And it might just be for a season, but since then I've not pushed it quite as hard. And so I don't get up in the morning, and I'll just write in the afternoons rather than doing twice a day. But I did try that. And part of that is just because I'm not a morning person. I'm not sleeping through the night with the babies. I'm glad you brought that up though. Cause that, it kind of makes me forget how I used to, I remember that I was like, okay, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to work. And I just kind of learned the rest.
Yeah. I've been getting up early, and I can think better in the mornings, but I have to get up early.
Do you go to bed earlier than 2 to kind of compensate?
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
Now I am so wiped out by about 9:30 or 10.
I like my sleep.
Yeah, you get sick if you don't get your sleep. If I don't get up early, then I've just seen God answer prayers, and I haven't been praying until I started getting up early. I never had time to pray because kids were always, you know how it is. And it got to the point where I had to have some miracles because attitudes and things and how God has answered those prayers has just shown me I can't skip this, because what if I hadn't gotten up that certain morning that God chose to answer that prayer, Yeah. So at this stage, I've never been able to do this before like this.
That's awesome. What time do you get up?
5. But like I say, I've never been able to do this before. Now, I've only been able to do this since my baby is, not nursing and I can sleep through the night. You know how it is. So it's a completely different stage. Like you say, when you're at that season of babies, you cannot compare yourself to people who don't have babies. It's just, you'll kill yourself.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for women who want to live with no regrets?
Yeah, just know who you are. Know that Jesus loves you where you are, and just be aware of that love. Be aware of your identity in Him, and just walk out the giftings that He has for you, and just rely on His love to guide you, and have discipline and walk that out too. But I think if we focus on a relationship with Him first, then everything else will fall into place. And like my relationship with my husband will be where it needs to be. My relationship with my children will be where it needs to be. And the gifts that he's given me will kind of fall from that. But I find that if I lose sight of that relationship, then everything else isn't in balance. Mm-hmm. And so I've just really been in a season of wanting to, kind of just honor that relationship and honor the love that he has for me, because he's loved me first. So I want to love him back. And so
that's awesome. It's so easy to get separated from that love if we're not careful, and to feel like, especially when things mess up, or we think things are messing up, when things are going hard and we're at those squeezing places, to think that he's angry with us, and to think like our temptations and our weaknesses get just so magnified in our brain. Mm-hmm. We're thinking, but Lord, I'm trying to repent. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to, but I can't. And I just need you to lighten up on me. And we don't see that he's wanting to lighten up on us. He loves us. And when I finally could see that he loved me and he was smiling on me, he wasn't frowning at me, then I could focus on him. And once I focused on him, it was like the other stuff just kind of dissolved. Yeah. Like you say, we have got to focus on his love for us, because we are not strong enough to get rid of our weaknesses and our temptations on our own. Only he can do that. And only his love can make us just like, like you said.
Just want to leave it behind.
Yeah.
Just want to leave it behind. If you know that love, it's like any child. If a child is reassured, mommy loves you and mommy loves when you do this. But I mean, that never earns the love, but they're just aware of what brings that praise and that. Yeah. And so you just want to do it. You're like, oh, that works. I want to do it again. Yeah. When I walk out of darkness, you love that. Then I want to do it again.
Right. Right. And it's wonderful. It's just so, like you say, it's freeing, and it gives you the chill where you can actually do what it's given you to do and enjoy it. And you're not just uptight about, am I getting it right? It's okay. You can fail, because he loves me even when I fail. And so I can try things that I would have never tried before, because I was too scared of everything,
Not getting it right.
Yeah. I'm not going to get everything right. And that's okay. He's big enough to be with me and to just smooth it all over. Mm-hmm. Well, this has been wonderful, Jolina.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. It's just been a treat. It's like old times, only we're all probably a little bit what heaven's going to be like. We won't have as many. Well, no, now we don't have as many, but then we won't have any of the, bad stuff.
Yeah. The hot warehouse, or the dishes in the sink, or
like the messy deck that I'm not showing you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Rebecca Love Doris.
Thank you, Jolina Petersheim. Have a great day.
God you too, sister.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening to the Every Wise Woman Builds podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Jolina Petersheim, you can visit her blog at www.jolinapetersheim.com, or visit her on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Amazon. Next week, make sure not to miss the much-anticipated interview with my friend Terry, who taught me how she trained her very young children to enjoy cleaning. I'm telling you, she has 4-year-olds doing laundry right and cleaning the kitchen the way she likes it. You will not want to miss it. Thanks again for joining me today. God bless, and have a great week as we turn our hearts toward home.
Turn your heart toward home. Turn your heart toward home. You've been gone so long. Turn your heart